Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's a big thing. Yeah, it's Friday. It's my birthday. And no, I haven't seen Many Saints of Newark yet. At the time of this, when this airs, I probably would have seen it maybe twice already. But I am here with Mark Ellis. We are going to be talking about the fact that we're excited about it. What the hell am I doing on my birthday? How many times am I going to watch Many Saints of Newark? That's definitely going to be something we talk about. Venom is coming up. Hearing some things about Venom. Is it good? Is it bad? Who knows? We're going to talk about that. But as you see in the description, Mark Ellis' favorite Rocky movie is Rocky IV, and there is an ultimate cut, an ultimate director's version of that movie by Sylvester Stallone. We are going to talk about that and then some on the show. Get ready for it. Here it comes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday, about a week away from the big show at the New York Comedy Club in Manhattan with myself and that guy.
But it is your birthday, Kristian,
Yes.
and so we do have to sing a song. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
A 1, a 2. There's no easy way out.
Oh, how much did you love that? I just showed Mark
Oh
that
my
before
God.
we start. We'll get right into it.
Woo!
So the Rocky.
Talk about a big thing.
So now, did you know about this thing at all? Because I've been following it obviously since Stallone put it up on his Instagram account like a year ago, and
I remember you were probably the one that broke the news to me, and I got
Yeah.
instantly excited and
there's
revved
some
up
stuff you're going to be happy about, and there's some stuff you're going to be mad about.
about because they take things out.
Robot's gone.
The robot I can live without if we
without.
still get the training montages and possibly more training montages from Sylvester Stallone at his absolute apex, more fight sequences.
I think the fight is going to be more brutal.
Yeah.
I think they're going to add more
Flashbacks.
story. Because remember, that movie plays, the theatrical one that you love, is like an hour and
Many
like,
people love.
like
love
an
it.
hour and 23 minutes or something. It's really
Is that
short.
it?
It's something real stupid
Oh,
like that.
I could use it all day.
And I think that because you have both versions of it, this is going to be the more serious version that Stallone could do nowadays. Because when you watch that trailer, it looks like, when you put in Goonies modern day trailer and you get some guy who did it.
Yeah,
and
right.
that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
But it's got this new stuff. It looks great. The music, the reformed Rocky tune in the back, the fact that they call it Rocky IV, Rocky versus Drago, the ultimate director's cut. It's like, this is like the Snyder cut I always wanted.
But
it's
it
the
says
Stallone cut.
voted the greatest fight in
By who?
movie history. Who's the body voting on? I mean,
Stallone
I don't
and Carl
disagree
Weathers?
necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
Maybe
pretty
not
sure
Carl
that
Weathers, maybe Dolph Lundgren. Because
pretty
Carl
sure
Weathers,
Dolph Lundgren would vote in that favor.
Right, because Carl Weathers would probably vote for one or two.
Weathers, I don't. But it's. I mean, whoever voted, thank you, because this is again, it's my favorite Rocky movie to rewatch.
Yeah.
Because it's just so endlessly rewatchable. But even if it's not the greatest Rocky, if it's not the best film, it still is the one that I would want to see.
The fight is great.
More footage of.
The fight is great. And
there's a lot in that story. I mean, it's the Cold War. It's two countries going at each other. It seems like they're going to be playing more into that aspect of it, too, with additional footage.
This is the thing, though, because Rocky IV, to me, I always enjoyed watching it, right? It's a music video. The majority of the movie is a music video. When he goes into the car and he's looking the No Easy Way Out scene, like you just see flashbacks of it's like a 5-minute scene of just cuts from the other movies, which is
5
fun.
minutes of Stallone looking in various mirrors.
Right. And that's what it is.
No problem.
And my thing with that movie was, and it's the same thing I say, I swear by it, it proves that if Rocky V would have ended in the ring, very different movie, better received in general. Because if Rocky IV ends on the street with Drago and Rocky fighting in the street, people would have lost their minds and said that's terrible, because the majority of it is just a robot video and whatever it is.
It ends with World War III.
That's it. But I think you're going to see I think because I remember I've seen the movie so many different times, Rocky IV, like thousands of times.
Did you see it in the theater?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing it. I remember where I was. It was Bay Terrace in New York. We
Whole
saw
place
it.
go crazy?
Yeah, but
Rocky beats Drago?
But I remember as a kid going, that was short. I was like, you were like in and you were out. It was like it was so fast. Like you're in the fight. And the question, if I ever get the opportunity to interview Stallone again.
Well, you're close personal friends.
I am not. But if I ever had an opportunity to interview him again, I would ask him why there were so many cuts in the first place, and you assume it's studio interference, right? Because I remember watching that as a kid, and there's like when in the newspaper they show that Rocky's going to fight Drago, and there's a clip from seeing that trailer that he's talking to the boxing commission. you always felt like there was a scene, but there's no scene in it. And and the funeral seemed like it should have been longer, and there's more
that
footage.
Funeral, it seems like he's revving himself up at the funeral, which is like, oh, man. Yeah, I mean, look, the whole reason why myself and so many other people adore Rocky IV so much is that it is that ultimate gym movie that you put on to get motivated to go work out. Right?
Yeah.
It's like you can get through this workout if you get some Rocky IV music. Maybe you saw one of the montages before you hit the gym. And this looks like it's got more of that motivational stuff in it.
Yeah.
And so that's the bones of Rocky as a story, is it inspires us to believe that we could amount to greater than the sum of our parts. So if you give me more parts, the sum's greater. And then I'm climbing a mountain in Russia screaming Drago's
But this
name.
is what I'm getting at, because we've always had, you and I have had this playful debate for years about what your favorite Rocky is, right?
Yeah.
And I've never, like 1, 2, and 3, at any given day I could put one over the other.
Could be one of those three.
One of those
but
three
it's
one
always
day-
stayed in that first trilogy.
One of those three is going to pop up depending on when I watch it, how I'm feeling when I watch it. 1, 2, or 3 could always jump back and forth. 2 has been in the number 1 spot. 3 has been there. 1 has been there.
So regardless of what happens that day or how you feel, you wake up in the morning and you go to bed at night inaccurate.
That is not correct. However, the biggest problem I always had with 4 was that there's just no. It's a great fight. I mean, if you're
What do
ranking
you feel like
fights,
there's not enough substance?
yeah, there's not enough substance to it. If
You don't think the whole revenge of his best friend, who we've seen in the first 3,
this is what I'm getting.
they're
at.
going to get deeper into
That's
that?
what I'm getting at. It's there.
Yeah.
It's all there. It just goes way too fast. And because he directed Rocky 2, Rocky 3, and Rocky 4,
Mm-hmm.
but 4 just seemed to be like a kind of just of the times, middle of the 80s. Everybody's watching MTV. Let's music video this thing up.
Yeah,
right?
well, I'm sorry the movie wasn't long enough for you, but at the time, Stallone had a Cold War to defuse.
It's true. And
I
he did
feel
it.
like Rocky
You think they're going to keep
5
that? You think they're going to keep the Russians screaming Rocky at the end? They have to, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can't because it doesn't feel like this movie's going to be like altering anything that we already have seen and love besides a robot. But it feels like it's just adding more emotional weight to the scenes that we know and fleshing them out a little bit more. The hot take here is not what he can do with Rocky IV, because we know there's greatness there to work with to mold another piece of clay. Is that Rocky V, could that also somehow be recut, given the fact that you do have the fight ending in the street instead? I would say, and I believe somebody has like Topher Grace this thing on YouTube where they recut it entirely, and it is, I think John Caparulo was telling me
Rocky V?
that there is a version of Rocky V that's on YouTube that's like, I don't know, it's maybe like 40 minutes or 45 minutes, but it's like it's got all the good stuff. And because there is a lot
it still
there.
ends in the street.
It's still a but it's still a commentary on the current state of boxing.
Yeah.
You get George Washington Duke as like a Don King character, but again, it's never going to end in the ring with him against his protege.
That's my biggest issue with the movie.
Yeah, I just think that at the time they were trying to do something different because every Rocky movie sort of felt the same.
I know, and he says it was the biggest mistake. He said it was a massive mistake.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, he knew what he was. Thank God, the mindset he was in when he was making that movie was wrong altogether. He says that he was going to kill Rocky in the street.
I mean, look, it's 1990 when that movie came out, and so he's about to go on a run that includes classics like "Stop or My Mom Will Shoot."
Do you know that story,
Oscar.
by the way? How he took that?
Him and Estelle Getty were dating for years before anybody knew.
Fucking no. But Arnold Schwarzenegger and him were like bitter rivals. They're fun. They're friends now, but they were rivals.
Right.
Schwarzenegger tells the story. I can't know. I don't know if it was on Kimmel or where it was. I don't know. It was on one of those shows.
Yeah.
He's like, it's funny. My agent tells me that there's this script. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, and he says, "Would you do this?" So I go through it. I said, "This is terrible. No, I will not do this. But I want you to tell Stallone that I will. Tell him that I'm going to do it."
Oh, I have heard this. Yeah.
And it's like, and then so Stallone, I found I was going to do it, so I figured, I'd do it. So I told my agent I'd do it before Arnold. And he's like, and of course I was not going to do the movie, but I did it, and it was the biggest bomb of his career.
And
it was like, I mean,
Arnold had
shit.
the upper hand right then because he was coming off a couple successful comedies with Twins, and then Kindergarten Cop was 89.
Is that 89?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then you have Stallone, who's going to try to answer him with movies like Oscar and Stuff My Mom Will Shoot. But then Schwarzenegger, it just flew too close to the sun because then he had Junior come out not too far after
that was 92 or 93.
But that's my favorite part of Last Action Hero, which is up and down, but I love two things about Last Action Hero. I could probably go back and find more to love because Charles Dance, as we've seen since, is such a great villainous presence.
It's better now. I think it was ahead of its time. In a
okay.
certain aspect.
I think it was ahead of my time. And what I mean by that is that I was 13 and I just
you were expecting Arnold, classic Arnold.
I want to see Predator.
Same.
And that's on me. I didn't want to see a reflection of myself, which is I was Austin O'Brien.
Absolutely.
Plus a few pounds for me. But because you want to be in the movie. Yeah. But when AC/DC's big gun kicks in the first time, that's awesome. Yeah. And when they're at the video store in the alternate universe and you see the cardboard cutout panning up of Terminator 2 and it's Stallone's face, I think that, you'll have to ask your dear friend Sly this, is that the moment where the rivalry started to see the ice melt a little bit? I think it was the frostiness started to dissipate.
I think I watched the whole video on this, and what I remember is that because Arnold's career started to kind of go down a little bit too, and it wasn't around that time.
True Lies had hit, but that was a little bit of a comeback for him.
Right.
But then he went on to a few, like Eraser did over 100 million, and then but then it started to take a decline with movies like The Sixth Day.
Right,
and
that's when it started.
End of Days.
Eraser.
And
You said Eraser did
Eraser. I look at Eraser like it was Guns N' Roses' second album after Appetite, because coming off of True Lies, it was not nearly the hit, the sensation that True Lies was, but it still did well.
And he was like a box office like smasher. So like if that, the fact that it didn't do like $200 million, whatever the hell it was,
it's like when Michael Jackson's Bad sold 6 million records, but it didn't sell 20 million like Thriller did.
Right. And so they're like buddies now. They tweeted each other, their Instagram, all of a sudden. And Arnold took that.
And they're popping into movies together now. They're starring in Red Box Fair together now. It's great.
But they had such a rivalry that nobody. And back in the day of non-Twitter and not Facebook, you didn't hear about it as much, So it's like you always wondered, you always hoped like that would have been the Avengers crossover back when Marvel, Marvel really the first ones. People forget how revolutionary putting like these big movie stars all in one movie is, right? Because we always wanted Van Damme and Stallone and Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis to be in the same movie together in their prime.
It would have been. It was the topic you want to say of every barroom conversation that you and I had as a kid. But we're talking about the lunch table. We're talking about recess. This is what you break down.
Absolutely.
Fun fact: do you know the very first shared universe in cinematic history?
I'm sure when you say it, I'll know it.
It involves two legendary comedians.
Is it Chevy Chase?
Who's on first?
Oh, really?
Abbott and Costello.
Oh, in the money.
Abbott and Costello meet
Wolfman.
Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
Or no, I think it's Abbott and Costello meet the Wolfman. Okay. Was the one that also had Dracula and Frankenstein and the Invisible Man, I think was in that. And so they all were in that. So it was kind of like Monster Squad of its day. But then they also
had
more
the real actors in it, right?
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
Yes, but they a couple of them returned, but like played. I think Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
Instead of playing Frankenstein, or no, Bela Lugosi plays Igor in one of them, I think. But it's like this just like crazy mashup. But then that predates the Avengers and the Expendables by like 50 years.
Right.
And so fast forward to the conversation about the rivalry, because I love a good rivalry like this where it feels like there's bad blood. I don't know if you could have that in the era of social media, because in social media, it seems that like a frenemy rivalry, it just takes on this comedic facade, which I still enjoy, which is like Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman needling each other.
Right.
It feels like that's, but again, we know that Ryan Reynolds is he's shredded, but he's also like a funny dude.
Right. Well, remember, there's another one. This is a pop culture one. The one that people went, oh, I can't believe that. I thought they had beef. Do you remember I think it was 2002 when they did the MTV Movie Awards and Madonna sang Like a Virgin, but Britney Spears came out first.
Oh,
singing,
right.
And Christina Aguilera came out right afterwards. And the three of them danced together.
Yeah.
And this was like, but I thought Britney and Christina hated each other.
Right. Then Madonna makes out with Britney.
Both. But they only aired Britney's kiss.
Was that the other? I remember seeing her kiss Christina too and being like, well, why aren't we talking about?
If you go and you look at YouTube now,
they
it's both.
It's there,
Yeah, but I think
not a bad vid to click on.
No. But I don't think that at the time they didn't focus in as much. Brittany was like the one that they're focusing in on.
What's the I guess the actor beef that we have now.
Yeah,
that feels a little like
Vin
Stallone,
Diesel and The Rock.
Schwarzenegger is Vin Diesel and The Rock, because
is that real? People still don't know if it's real.
Back when I used to host Movie Talk, so did he. When we were doing that, in the run when it was just like a revolving host.
Oh.
That was around the time when that beef first started coming out. The Rock hates that Vin Diesel takes naps or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, I want to root for The Rock, but I'm kind of, my lifestyle is more around
If I could
Vin
take
Diesel.
a nap right now, I would.
Oh, my God. Thank you. I'm enjoying the conversation as well. I feel like it's real, but back then I thought it was just professional wrestling to sell more tickets.
I thought they were going to fight at WrestleMania.
I think that they're eventually going to, and it may have been a thing all along, but I think there probably was some real tension there.
Yeah.
But we all know where this is headed. It's on a collision course to, Fast 15 when they all come back in. But The Rock's not back yet?
Not yet, but The Rock's a businessman. Like Rock takes a page off of Vince McMahon's book, right?
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon, this is one of the things that, like, you can have. Vince McMahon has had many rivalries, and many people hate his guts, and many people leave, and most of those people have always come back.
Yeah.
Because it's business, and you can say whatever you want about Vince McMahon, but it's a testament to his business sense when it's like, okay, the Ultimate Warrior just destroyed him in the press, went after him. Hogan testified against him in the steroids and everything too. Most people be like, fuck those guys, never come back working in my. He made millions and millions of dollars off them again when they came back.
It's the brand in wrestling, and I get AEW is a separate thing.
Yeah, I love that you know AEW. Well. I love that you know AEW. The fact that you know it says a lot about the brand.
When I watch Family Guy.
Yeah.
And
it says a lot about the brand.
But yeah, I mean, it is a legitimate wrestling brand.
Yeah.
And again, I remember back in the day, like, I remember Diamond Dallas Page headlining ECW, right?
WCW. Oh, yeah, he did do ECW.
He did ECW. Because I remember my friends. This is all just like the knowledge you pick up growing up around
it was brief. I think he was in ECW brief, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But somebody had referenced, somebody on SportsCenter had referenced Roddy Piper the other day. And I can't remember what the quote was, but it was just one of his classic ones. It's, it's like you gave me,
Machine gun?
You give me the answers, but now I change the questions.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's like you give me the just when you think you have the answers, I change the questions.
I love that.
It's the best.
Yeah.
He's never throw rocks at a guy with a machine gun. I think he said he had
some good advice there.
Did you ever see? Did you ever watch when he hit Jimmy Snuka in the head with the coconut?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because you made me watch it. I think you made us all sit down and watch it
when we first got involved.
When he was coming in the studio, and we were going to do the prank on JTE.
Yeah. Oh, I miss him.
He was great.
I really miss him.
Sweetheart of a man.
He really was.
Yeah.
For people that didn't know, Mark and I had an opportunity to get to know the late, great Roddy Piper.
Kick it with him in the back of the Comedy Store. Showed me how to tape my knee so I wouldn't get as much pain when I ran.
That's the guy.
And he'd like check up on me. He'd be like, "How's the knee going?"
And it was just legit.
Like that guy.
And it was legit. It wasn't like you didn't feel. You always felt like he fucking cared.
Yeah.
Always. And the way he was with his kids, like. It was just so beautiful. You knew, like, his.
Because I was in Little Effort with Ariel. She was the lead.
That's right. Yes, you were. But I watched. They were doing that. Did you watch the A&E doc finally, Roddy?
No, it's still on the DVR. Yeah.
Really focus on his family, and a lot of these times when you see a lot of these docs with certain, not just wrestlers, but sometimes any celebrities, is always like, like when I watched the whole thing on Val Kilmer, and the family relationship was not great for a long time.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of these things that they just didn't go great, and it wasn't Roddy. Everything Roddy did was for his family.
Yeah,
everything he did, and he man, for those kids, he lived for those kids.
And once you got to be one of his pals, he'd do anything for you. I think I told you the story. I was at the store and I was doing Valentine's Day, which is always a greght night for comedy. It really is.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And I was in the main room, and I went up like, I don't know, second or third, and it was a great show, packed house. But there was just like these two like annoying. I can't remember if it was a couple who it was, but they were just kind of like chatty and just like annoying. So I had a good set, but it's always those two people you focus on. So I get off stage and I go back to the kitchen. This was where we would still kick it afterwards at the time. And it was Steve Simone and Roddy were back there, and it's just typical like, it's a good set, but watch out for those two. Idiots in front, because Simone was going to go up. And Roddy just like kind of sits up a little bit. He's like, "You want me to take care of it?" And I was like, no, it's okay. But it's just that he would have, helped me out.
Do you remember what we were going to ask him to do when we had that whole idea about theater etiquette?
Yeah, we had the whole movie theater, how to behave in a movie theater.
We were going to rent out a theater. I think it was the Fairfax one, and we were going to shoot a movie theater etiquette thing. And every time somebody broke the rule, Roddy would come in and beat the shit out of them. He was like, "Yeah, sounds great. I'll do it. Sounds great." Man, I loved Roddy.
That would have been still playing in
100%
AMC's. Everywhere. Regals coast to coast.
Everywhere. Like we were going to get a mannequin.
Yeah, right.
He was going to throw the guy across the thing.
It's rare that you get somebody like that to want to do something, but it's also rare that you and I are so aligned in our passion for getting something out to the world. And you and I, when it comes to movie theater etiquette, we have rules, man.
Same page. We've never. That's the only thing we've never really. Like, a lot of different times we're like, I don't know, you're a little too extreme on that, or you're not. But we're on the same.
Stop doing the paper thing.
Yeah, but we're on the same page on that one. There's a lot of different things. Like, when somebody did something, you knew immediately we'd look at each other and go,
"Oh yeah, that's where we superseded our friend sitting right behind us, Dave and Alonzo, as to being the oldest married couple there."
Easily.
Because you and I are just like, can you believe this?
It's unbelievable, the stuff that you would see. But the late great Ronnie was so good. And Steve Simone had introduced us. Do you remember the first time? I believe is the same time we met him together was at Room 5 that night.
I think I had met.
Had you met him at the store?
At the store previously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so for me, Steve had texted me and said, "Hey, would you mind if I brought Roddy up to do a set?" I'm like, "What? Would I mind?"
You know who you're texting?
That's just Steve.
Yeah.
But like, he knew what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you? I'll give him an hour. I'll bump everybody off the fucking show. Like, what do you want to do? And so he came in
and we played his music, right?
We played the bagpipes.
Yeah.
And then him and Ken did a thing together. Ken was the first time Ken met him. Ken lost his mind. His favorite wrestler, was able to talk to him and had this whole thing. And he did like a mini Piper's Pit with him up on stage.
Right.
And then people were screaming Roddy in the crowd and it was like packed house. It was like 70 people in that little room, and it was great.
It's like those days, those shows, I kind of look at them like it's, I don't know, like the Ben Stiller show or something where there's like all these great stories about it. And I don't need to go ever back and like watch any of the actual material because you don't know if it would hold up.
We just don't, but we don't have any of it.
It's sometimes things are better in mythology.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, that set though, we did tape, we did have that, but a lot of that stuff that we did that night, because we had, Eliza would go up there, Steve Renazzisi.
Yeah.
We had tons of people that used to go up there all the damn time. We do those karaoke battles where Max Cook pretended he was Gary Busey and he was like he was a judge.
Yep.
It was good stuff. But speaking of stand-up, we not only do we have a show coming up now next week on Thursday and Friday, we finally first time shared the stage together. It's in a
very first time. Yeah.
It was like, New York kind of counts 2 years ago, but you weren't there. You were like getting ready for your set when I did my set in New York. You had just missed it.
I didn't see. I don't think I saw your set when you went up in New York.
You didn't.
But I did watch it at Flappers.
Right, because we had talked beforehand, and when I got there, and it was a nice crowd. I think there was 50, 60 people there.
No, I think we're closer to 100.
Think so?
Yeah.
On Sunday?
Uh-huh.
I can't gauge the.
Yeah.
All right, so 100 people in the crowd.
Yeah.
I had fun. There was definitely, like I said, you know me well enough to where it's like it was a very nice voice message that you sent me after. So by the way, I didn't get a chance to respond to you. But
it was accurate.
It was very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
from start to finish.
And
I show up to Flappers.
Yeah.
You're already there. We go into the green room. I'm walking into the green room. I see you sitting down. I'm like, all right, good. Because at this point, you're like my son. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, good. My son made friends. And I see our dear friend Justine Marino is also on the show. My good buddy Rel Battles nice back guy. There. We see Jake, his brother. They're all back there.
How fucking cool are those two guys?
They're great. Everybody on the show was fantastic. Lauren, who did the Melania Trump, she was great.
Yeah.
And so you're all kind of sitting back there and just, chewing the fat. And but then I get there and it's getting a little closer to showtime. So you look at me, you're like, hey, how do you get outside? I just got a lot of...
Yeah.
You weren't nervous necessarily, but you, at least to me, but you just had like that boxer energy of like, I need to sort of do that. I always liken it to the walk that Obi-Wan and Darth Maul are doing when they're staring at each other
100%.
with the little laser field up. And they're like, I'm going to go kick your ass as soon as this thing's up.
Exactly what it is.
So that's how you were...
Yeah.
So I walk out and, we kind of talk through your set a little bit, how... you want to pace it, and just more than anything, I don't like to give people pointers as far as like do this or don't do that, but I just like to set you up technically for how it's going to feel, where the light is coming from, when you have 2 minutes left, how much time you have, all that sort of thing. And so, but watching your set that night, it was the thing that impressed me the most is that you stayed in the pocket, because so many times, I'm going to call you a new comic, right, is that if you're a new comic, you get up there and you just get squirrely because something doesn't hit exactly the way you think it's going to, and so you just bow out of it. Right. So I liken it like a quarterback who fades back to pass, sees the one route that they wanted to throw to is covered, and then they just, oh no, and they just panic and they run around. You did not do that. You stayed in the pocket, and you got a lot of laughs. You took a few pauses. You never looked like it looked like the reception you were getting was the reception that you anticipated the whole time. So it was a very natural
that's good to know
progression for me.
Well, as far as the football thing goes, it's like
not funny at all.
No, not at all. Terrible. But agreed. But the thing was with the football analogy, right? It's like I think that what you're talking about is usually that's someone straight out of college, as opposed to someone who used to play in the pros, broke their leg, or just rehabilitated, comes back, still knows how to play in the pocket. But you got that like giant 30-pound knee brace. Yeah. And you're just not sure if they're going to be able to hold up when the pocket crumbles. And you just got to run. You just got to run. And it's funny you say that about the hitting the way that you want, because I did stay. I remember going through a couple, and it's funny because the first few I thought would hit good, and they hit great. Like the first 6 minutes, all new stuff. 6-7 minutes, all new stuff. And then the other thing that I added, that I changed the thing around and added something new to it, the sandwich thing. Right. That smashed. And I was expecting it to be like, okay, because the way it used to be, I always thought was funnier. But apparently they thought this was funnier. So now I'm like, okay, now I'm going. So when I started to move into another thing that always used to work, the older stuff with a couple tweaks, it worked, but it didn't smash.
It's the experience. It's the exact inverse of how a band like Journey experiences their live shows, because they go up and they play the hits and everybody goes crazy. Right. And then they try a couple new songs and it's like, it's okay. They're playing. They're putting the chords together. I might go get a beer. But for you, I thought the new stuff, and I think there's a reason for it. It's because you've been kicking around that old stuff. Even if you didn't always have the idea of wanting to return to stand-up in the forefront of your brain, it's always kind of there, and you think about how you might rework it. The new stuff, it's just fresh. It's fresh. It's got an energy to it that you just cannot replicate. It's like a pet, you know. Right. You get a new dog and they're just running around. You get an older dog, still a great dog, but it's like, no, I'm cool, I'm good. Right.
It's like the first time you're like, look at my new look what I got. Look at this, as opposed to
the new toys are shiny, and I know, and the crowd sometimes senses that energy.
Yeah, I know, but like I said, the older stuff worked fine. Yeah, it just was compared to the other stuff. But anyway, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in New York, and get tickets at markellis.live. You got a couple. Are we sold out yet?
We're getting close. I haven't checked in, but we're getting close.
And then Saturday night, we made an announcement I guess on Thursday this week, that this New York show coming up on October 9th is the last New York show in quite a while. No New York shows in 2022. So, guys,
as far as the Schmodown goes.
As far as the Schmodown goes, not New York, but not comedy. But as far as the Schmodown goes, it's our last.
No, 2022.
Boston, Philadelphia.
Okay. Williamsburg, Virginia.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of different places. We're going to Dallas.
I'm in.
But New York, we're going to give a break to, because this time around, I mean, I get it, the way that the world is at the moment, and certain things, certain people want to do things, certain people don't want to do things. So it's a matter of there's certain things in New York that you can't do, right, unless you do something else. Right. So I think that has definitely affected tickets. Okay. Normally we're sold out by this time. We're not at the moment. We're fine, but it's like maybe we take a break for now, and then when we come back in 2023, more people get more pumped up.
Come on, see it next week.
But I would say don't miss out on this one. It's Comic-Con weekend. The SchmodownLive.com. Marisol McKee versus Chance Ellison, and Griffin Newman versus Josh Harwood. It's going to be a great fight.
Just 4 great personalities. Yeah. And it's going to be an epic cinematic trivia clash with a lot of humor. There's going to be a little bit of trash talk. There's going to be a little bit of tension, but it's going to add up to a pretty special night.
It's going to be great. The whole week.
Looking forward to seeing your smiling faces there.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all 3 nights are going to be a lot of fun. And then, Mark, you're going to be at at Comic-Con also.
For what it's worth, I'm moderating a panel for our good friends at Rotten Tomatoes Friday morning. I'm going to be at Comic-Con. And I was talking to Corey Jandrew on the way over here. He's going to do stand-up on the Thursday night show.
Okay.
He's on the Thursday night show, if y'all want to go to that. And so I'm probably going to pal around with him around the floor. Because I was joking with him, like, Venom is out, and he's kind of like my symbiote as far as, like, knowing everything about comic books. So if I see a movie or I have a question about a comic book, I just call Corey, and he just, like, downloads all of the information onto my brain.
He's coming out on Monday to talk about Venom.
Yeah.
So that's exactly why. And myself, we already taped it. It's fine. We're releasing it on Friday. We're doing a rewatch of all the Spider-Man movies. So
have you finished the rewatch of Star Wars, or is it all just jumbled in your brain?
No, same. No. We're doing a rewatch. So today,
you're watching too many movies, honey.
Ones that I've seen and ones that I love. Empire Strikes Back on my birthday. It's kind of perfect.
Is it a good movie?
It's pretty great. So
I've heard good things.
That's today. That's going to be this week, and then next Friday will be 2 rewatches. You're going to get the big thing. You're going to get Spider-Man, the first one, the Raimi version, and then later on that day is your favorite Star Wars movie, Return of the Jedi. So that's one day you're going to get the rewatch series that we started. But it was myself, Winston, and Coy who did the rewatch of the Raimi movie. It's going to be impossible to talk about any of these movies now and not link back how it's going to play in to No Way Home. It's impossible because you're like, oh, how's that going to fit in now? And will that person show up? You think Kirsten Dunst is going to be there? What about this? And it's like, there's a lot of great conversation that comes out of it. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody because there's something that's brought up and I'm like, oh, wait, I think Coy brings it up. And it's like, that's really smart if Sony decided to actually do that.
You could almost do what we did back when The Force Awakens was announced or when the new Disney Star Wars movies were announced. Remember when we did our fantasy draft of like who we think is going to be in it? Yeah. You could almost do a fantasy draft of previous Spider People movies and
who's going to show up.
Yeah, whoever's roster has the most appearances in No Way Home.
Right. And in a matter of how much time, like
screen time counts.
Well,
so you can have your roster.
When.
Right. So it's like, so let's say I'm starting Andrew Garfield, Kirsten Dunst, and Topher Grace, right? And then you add up all their screen time in the new movie is points.
How long they're going to be in it. Plus, but when they show up, like we know Alfred Molina's in it. He's in the trailer. So
he's got to be the number one round. He's the number one overall.
The trailer. You're going to get points no matter what because he's in the trailer.
Right.
The question is, how much time is he going to be in it, and how much time when he shows up? Does he show up in the first half an hour? Does he show up an hour in? Does he show up 2 hours? Does he show up in a post-credit scene?
Defoe, Franco, they're all out there.
I don't think Franco's going to. I think they're going to stay away from Franco.
Yeah, they might. Yeah.
But I mean, again,
get Dave Franco.
But they're going to stay. But not even just for that.
It's Seth Rogen.
So hey, Seth, how's your appearance in Spider-Man? No. Perfect. You're crushing it.
I did my one note Gilbert Gottfried impression
love that
on the radio this morning, where it's literally just that's it.
That's all you did.
That's how it ends. By the way, on the other side of this ad, I have a trick you can do to gross your friends out.
All right, tell me. I want to on
the other side.
On the other side, thank you. You've been watching a lot of Brian Williams. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen,
hi.
QUIP. We talked about it last time. It's no joke. I love QUIP. So the good news is that you guys can actually take smart technology, and it's improved your life in so many different ways. But when was the last time that you got a gift or a free reward out of it? What did you have to do to get that reward? Your favorite rewards program and how it motivated you to improve your behavior. There are a lot of different things that you can do in order to do that. And if you think about it, brushing your teeth, have you gotten rewarded for doing that? Well, with QUIP's smart electric toothbrush, good habits can earn you great perks like free products, gift cards, and more. You've heard us talk about, we've been talking about QUIP since the Schmoes No Days. But this is something brand new that rewards you and your mouth. The QUIP Smart Brush, it's for adults and for kids. It connects to the QUIP app with Bluetooth. You can track when and how well you brush. You can get tips and coaching to improve your habits. It's got sensitive sonic vibrations, 2-minute timer with 30-second pulses for a guided clean. If you have QUIP already, you can upgrade it with a smart motor and keep the features that you know and you love. It's slim, it's lightweight, it's sleek, no wires or bulky charger to weigh you down. Beyond the brush, QUIP has everything that you need to build a complete routine. They have mint or watermelon toothpaste with anti-cavity ingredients for strong, healthy teeth. Floss that expands to clean and comes in a refillable dispenser to reduce waste. I absolutely love QUIP. Dig it. My daughter uses it all the time. We got a timer, which is amazing. You can join over the 5 million mouths who use QUIP and save hundreds compared to other Bluetooth brushes when you get a QUIP Smart Brush for just $45. Start getting rewards for brushing your teeth today. Go to getquip.com/bigthing right now to save $10 on a QUIP Smart Electric Toothbrush. That's $10 off a Smart Electric Toothbrush. Get it at getquip.com/bigthing, getquip.com/bigthing. QUIP. It's the Good Habits Company. Love that QUIP.
Yeah, I haven't been rewarded for brushing the old chompers in a while. Not since that fairy was flying around.
You bastard.
That's not really for brushing your teeth. That's just for teeth falling out.
Why
isn't there a fairy?
For what?
That just comes when you brush your teeth consistently for a month. Why does the fairy only show up to collect your teeth? It's just...
It's morbid.
It's
a bit morbid.
There's something going on in that house.
Yeah.
And I don't want my kid playing with its kid.
It's traumatized. She was traumatized as a kid. Saw her dad curb stomp somebody. Kept the teeth. Speaking of curb stomping, Many Saints in Newark.
Oh, wait, before that.
Wow. You killed it.
I had to. We teased the kids on the other side of the break.
Which one do you like better?
I want to come here and I want one new one every time. Until
I would actually. It would be funny. What if everywhere you went, it just was either Pie or Tony?
It's
yeah. Did you finish the entire series?
Okay, we'll do the popcorn trick later.
Yeah.
Yes, I have finished the entire series of The Sopranos.
Okay,
start to finish.
Did you love it?
Yeah.
It's great. And the ending? Did you dig the ending?
I mean, I knew what the ending was,
but now that you
already, and I think it's.
Did you read into all the little things that were going on?
Yeah. I mean, you pick up so much more of that, but so. The Monday morning quarterback, it's so you can't put the genie back in the bottle because we had so many feelings about it. But I think it was a fine way to end that show. I think it's one of the logical ways to end it because now I can't imagine it ending with something that is more definitive or visual
and so talked about, right?
Than that, so, But this movie, I'm jacked to see. I mean, I am just going down a rabbit hole now because I rewatched all the Godfathers and I put the Godfather 2 on again 2 nights ago, just because I wanted something to watch while the my gummy bear medicine kicked in.
Yeah, I gotta get ready.
Great.
I gotta watch it again. I have them.
Oh, I gotta
watch them again.
It's just so good.
So Many Saints of Newark. At this time when this airs, I might even
be watching it.
Either be watching
bowl of ziti in front of you.
I'm gonna watch it twice. I'm not gonna tell my wife this. This is what I decided I'm finally gonna do. I'm going to wake up in the morning, got myself a gun, but I'm going to wake up and I'm going to probably tape Sith Council, and then afterwards I'm going to watch the movie, and then I'm going to review it, put it on the channel, and then hopefully I like it because I'll probably watch it again that night with the pasta, with everything.
You're not going to tell her that she's catching you on your second viewing?
No, because I know her too well.
She's going to be asking questions during it?
No. She's not going to answer questions. She's not going to watch it if I tell her. She's only watching it with me. She's not a Sopranos fan. She never watched it, right? So she's not going to watch it.
Which again, you don't necessarily have to be.
This is what people have been asking me. It's the people who ask and say like Riley. Riley was like, "Should I check out the Sopranos first, or am I good at watching?"
Riley hadn't seen it.
No, which is surprising because he loves all the gangster stuff, right? And
what a freak!
So what I told him was, I said, "Dude, I gotta be honest. If you actually want to watch the Sopranos, then you should watch the series first, because there's tons of stuff. Like, will you be lost and will you be able to pick it up? Sure, but you won't get the same kind of satisfaction.
No, it might be like a Game of Thrones situation where the names,
right? You'll know
they drop in the Many Saints of Newark aren't going to be, they're not going to beat you over the head with it because they assume that everybody knows what the last names are.
Right. When you hear Dickie Moltisanti, you and I now, because you're just seeing, you're coming fresh, you go, oh, that's Christopher's dad. He's done this. We know how he dies. At least we think we know how he dies. And then there's other things that happen. The riots. They talked about the race riots in season 1, so they're going to really focus on that. The stuff with Johnny Boy Soprano and Junior, like all that stuff is there. And all these things, these references and things that they've done. And Silvio and Paulie are in it.
Yeah.
And you even see Paulie in the second trailer. He's talking about his jacket and Silvio with the hair. And so like, if you're getting introduced to Silvio and Paulie the first time, there's nothing against these actors that are playing them. They could be absolutely great. But you got to get introduced to them first by Tony Sirico and Stephen Van Zandt. I mean, you have to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that.
Otherwise, it would be a mistake.
They're just perfect. They're just perfect for those roles.
Yeah, and then listening to Talking Sopranos and knowing that. So I told you, did I tell you this last time? The 3 people that were supposed to play Tony Soprano were Jim Gandolfini, Stephen Van Zandt, and I keep forgetting this guy's name, and I hate that I do it because he's a really good actor. Is Jackie Aprile, who played Jackie, not Junior, Jackie Aprile Senior in the first episode. He dies of cancer.
Right.
He's also in Sleeping with the Enemy. Not Sleeping with the Enemy. While You Were Sleeping.
I was going to say Patrick Bergen.
No, While You Were Sleeping. Patrick Bergen looked like a 1985 baseball player with that mustache.
Yeah, Patrick Bergen looked like a relief pitcher.
He really did. But
in like a beer league.
Yeah. But absolutely. But anyway, so it was between the 3 of them, they had the guy on. He was talking about how it was him and Gandolfini, like to the very end, and then Gandolfini got it, and it's just crazy how your life just can change in a heartbeat. Right?
How a show can change because it's a very different show. You get either one of those other two.
Very different show. Gandolfini just he. Did you notice though, as the seasons went on, his accent changed like dramatically? Like he wasn't saying mutter. He wasn't saying mutter in season 1. This is my mother. He's my mother.
Oh, so yeah.
It changes dramatically.
Yeah.
Not much where you're like, oh, that's a different guy. It just it gets real intense as it goes if it goes further on. But there's so much greatness. I appreciated the series so much better on the rewatch. I'm almost done with it. I'm on the end of season 6.
Yeah.
There's like what do you think is the most heartbreaking? And it's for people who, again, there's spoilers on the Sopranos.
No, I can answer that without spoiling.
I know who you're gonna go.
How do I? I'm gonna.
You can
Bruce Springsteen's guitar player is involved. Is the perpetrator?
He doesn't. Oh yeah. It's
just
again,
so brutal.
I'm giving spoilers. I'm giving spoilers for people because if you haven't watched Sopranos, I know a lot of people are going back in to watch it. So the time codes are in here. Skip
Drea
ahead.
De Matteo turns out back was against the wall. FBI informant.
But you know what's devastating about it? Rewatching it, she doesn't give them anything. She doesn't give the feds anything. And it's like you look at what she's just trying to get Christopher out, but she gave them. That was the whole thing. They told her, like, you haven't given us shit.
Right.
And he's like,
nobody wins. Same thing with Big Pussy. Like, they couldn't really use most of the stuff that he tried to give.
He was trying to get, but he was also he was getting to a place where he was like starting to try to become
if I'm running this operation, the problem has to be taken care of.
Right.
But you also go back and you're like, well, he didn't even help the feds
do anything. No,
make a case.
None of them did. And then you look, and then I'm in right now. I'm in the Vito storyline, right? So Vito at this point, it's like he was gone, and it's because of his and the guy that he winds up having the relationship with even says to him, he's like, Vito goes, I came back for my kids. You didn't come back for the kids.
Nope.
You came back for the gambling and for the life. He's like, yeah, maybe you're right, and it got him killed because he came back. It's like, if he would have stayed, I mean, granted, he did have his kids and his wife, but it's not why he came back. He came back because the first thing he does is go to see Tony. And he's like, I want to get back in the game.
It's every cautionary tale that you would hear if you go to Vegas and you want to play some blackjack.
Yeah.
If it's going well, have fun, ride it out. If it's not going well, get out of the table.
Get out.
And don't come back.
I can't. And he was out.
Don't be Vito.
No.
Don't be Robert Patrick.
Oh, Robert Patrick.
Don't beat these people.
Yeah,
okay? They're for entertainment purposes only.
The Dre De Matteo is definitely devastating because it's funny, they asked Silvio, because Silvio gets popped in the last season, but then because they said the guy was interviewing Stephen Van Zandt, he's like he goes, so Silvio died. He goes, he didn't die, and we don't know that. And it's like you see him, and he's in a coma. He never dies.
Yeah.
And Paulie doesn't. Paulie is the only one who like really makes it out.
Yeah.
I forgot Johnny Sack died. That was because he dies. He goes. You talking about a guy who was like living as he was like one of the kings of the series, and then he just kind of craps out cancer in prison. You know.
Yeah.
It's what happens to these guys.
I mean, that's what in real life.
Yeah, something Gotti.
What happens to what's his face who was in Santa Monica? Is that Whitey Bulger?
Oh, Whitey Bulger, right? But that fucker was away for he like escaped.
He was
for
living
years,
in Santa Monica. He was hanging out down at the promenade for 20 years. Nobody knew it was Whitey Bulger.
Same thing though. Why are you still in the States? I mean, look, I'm glad they caught him, but why are you still in the States? That guy should have been living in a different country. Why are you living in the States?
You might stand out more, and again, maybe there's extradition laws that would protect you, but it's like you would stand out more if you're Whitey Bulger somewhere else than you would in Santa Monica, California.
Oh, and it's the same thing.
He moved as far away as he could.
Yeah, well, that kind of shit fascinating. If Whitey Bulger, this by the way, this is why I'm glad you brought up the Whitey Bulger thing, because the Whitey Bulger thing convinced me that William H. Bonney survived.
That's what did it? Young Guns 2 and the greatness therein did not.
But that story is a factual story. You know that, right? The guy that
the brushy Bill Roberts.
That's a true story. Yeah. That Bill Roberts said that he's actually Billy the Kid.
Before,
and they went to the
and when he went before the courts,
he did. Yes,
there were multiple known allies of Billy the Kid that testified on his behalf that that's the guy.
Right, I know. Do you think it's him?
I'm a Young Guns 2 honk for a reason.
You're also a conspiracy guy. So,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that I think it's because the reason I bring that up, the Whitey Bulger thing, is that because they caught Whitey Bulger, what, it was like 10 years ago or not, or less, something.
Yeah.
And that's in the age of the internet. There was no internet when he was running around. So it was a lot easier for him to go under the radar if he wanted to.
Yeah, and these stories would become myth so quickly because again, it's like how the Bible was written. It's like it's okay.
Right.
We got very little info to go on.
Right.
So let's make it entertaining if nothing else.
Right.
And then we'll sort through it. We have newspapers, they're coming out every day, but we don't really know what the deal is. And because Pat Garrett made such a heroic, stink about how he's the guy that shot Billy the Kid.
Right.
And he had this biography that was a failure. The authentic life of Pat Garrett or Billy the Kid, whatever it was. Yeah. Then it's just like, okay, well, if you live to tell the tale, you get the right of first refusal for what the tale is.
Right.
But maybe that person that didn't live actually did.
Right. So that's fascinating. And I know they were talking about Young Guns 3. Is that still going down?
It's a thing.
Is it Netflix?
We're making it. I don't know where it's landing yet. It's landing in my effing lap.
It's going to be interesting.
Where it's landing.
Because that would have to play. I mean, Emilio Estevez now is in his 50s. So
yeah, and I really don't remember if this was like them making any sort of definitive announcement or if it's just us speculating wildly.
No.
There was no. I know it's a movie being made.
Okay.
But I'm talking about whether you get a return of Kiefer Sutherland or Lou Diamond Phillips because they all died.
They all died though
in Young Guns too.
Yeah, I don't think that. I mean, I could see if Emilio Estevez shows
Christian
back up.
Slater.
He's dead too though.
Yeah,
they're all dead. So like that to me, I don't need to see any of those.
Well, we
guys.
never actually see Arkansas
Slater.
Dave.
No, you just hear about it.
Eat it.
You just hear about it.
Well, you see him in Mexico, and you see two guys look because he's so excited about being Arkansas Dave.
And then they say they beheaded him. I
think it said they beheaded him. Yeah, but I mean, again,
who knows?
We don't know.
What were you gonna say about the popcorn thing before we move on?
So they did this to me on Heidi and Frank on 95.5 KOLS, Southern California's rock station. Came in on Thursday. And I lost a bet with Johnny because the Bills are a secondary team, and they beat the crap out of my football team. So the bet was you had to smell something
what did you
on
smell?
air. So what all he does
farts?
is he's got I walk into the studio and I smell a very pleasant, freshly popped bag of microwave popcorn.
Okay.
He's got a big Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Do this to your friends. Trust me, it's fun. Poured some of the popcorn into the Ziploc bag and then opened up a soda can of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Poured a little bit of Coke into the bag. Sealed it, mixed it all up, walks over, opens it up, and I got to get my head in there and get a whiff.
Is it the worst smell ever?
It was so foul.
What? Really? What
It was.
Were you expecting? Had you ever heard of it?
No,
you never heard of that before.
But Johnny said that like him and his friends used to do this.
Just
all
soda,
the time.
just soda in a popcorn bag.
Just soda and popcorn in a Ziploc bag, and
like
it's just
like microwave popcorn.
The combination of smells, and so then it's funny because it's like that's what you're putting in your stomach,
right?
In mass quantities when you go to the movies.
Yeah, right. That's true. Right. You're.
It smells better on the way out than
sure
it smelled in this bag.
I had a guest on.
I
had a guest on that dropped a load in the bathroom and didn't go over well with the wife. I'll tell you that.
It's a no-no, but some people are just so free with their bowel movements. They're like, you got 5 minutes? I'll take a shit in your yard. Like they're so good at it.
My wife went in with a hazmat suit.
Yeah,
and it was like it didn't go over well. I'm not gonna say that I wasn't laughing. Because I was in my head.
I can't wait to guess who this was off air. I cannot wait to guess. And your audience is thinking, okay, well, wait, what guest has he had on?
They won't know.
Who's he got coming on? Who could it be?
Yeah, it was
not me. He's telling me.
No,
so I'm free.
Nah, it's not your style. But the person, and to be fair, the person had they had to drive far, so they did their business, and it wasn't pleasant.
When you gotta go, you gotta go. That's the thing that you cannot go in the car.
No, that's why my wife said, "Do it when you're home." I'm like, the person might have went in their pants on the back. I'm like, it's why we have bathroom. It's like, well, you need your own studio. It's like, no shit.
It is. I mean, the man makes sense occasionally. It is why we have a bathroom.
That's why we have a bathroom.
The carpenters who built this place, they were building the bathroom. They're thinking, this is where people are going to take a shit.
To take a dump.
It's going to be a lot of dumps.
That's right.
Right here. Come here, son.
You think Venom's going to be a dump? You think Venom 2 is going to be good? Did you like the first one? I forget. I feel like you did.
I mean... Yeah, for what it was.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't like it.
Yeah, there's fun to be had, and so I think there's going to be more fun to be had. And I did have it spoiled for me on purpose, just because
what happened,
I wanted to know.
A big post credit thing, right? That's what you got. That's what you get spoiled.
I just wanted to know.
Just the post credit thing.
Yeah, but I mean,
I don't want to know yet. Maybe off air.
Yeah, from Coy.
Okay,
because I was like, hey, I'm curious about this.
Yeah, because everyone's talking about the post credits,
and it seems like everybody should stick around.
That's what they were saying. They were saying like it's a massive.
Seems like everybody should stick around.
That's what they're saying. It's like a massive.
Made me want to go see the movie even more.
Oh, okay, so I mean,
Billy
I do want to see.
Shows up.
I do. Do you know why I want to see the movie?
Because you, like me, you grew up patterning your basketball game after Billy Hoyle in White Men Can't Jump.
No idea.
Well, I know you love Tom Hardy and his pouty lips,
but
I know you love Michelle Williams.
Yes and no, but that's not what. Neither one is the reason.
Yes, I do know why.
Why?
Because the director.
Yes, Andy Serkis is directing, and
you may know him as Gollum. You may know Caesar.
That's right.
Snoke.
And so I want to support him. I never saw his Jungle Book though. I still have never seen his Jungle Book.
I see it. I can't remember if I saw it or not.
I do want to see it. I that's the most. We're just talking about how much we love Roddy. I love Andy Serkis. Like, you talk about just a nice human being.
Sweetheart.
I've had many times to be able to have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Like, even during when all the Gollum stuff was in the height of Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
And my buddy Adam Winkleman, who I've talked about many times, his old boss Larry Taub, who's now a good friend, is Andy's manager.
Yeah.
So invited us over to Larry's house for like a barbecue and whatever, we're just a party. And Andy was there with his kids and his wife and just swimming around in the pool and just was great. And then I saw him at the Grove like 2 days later, and I was like, Andy, I just met you at Larry's. And he stopped. He's like, oh, how are you? And we were just talking at the Grove. Saw him at the Last Jedi premiere talking. Larry brought him over. We started talking a couple other times, and we had him on the show. You know, we had him on Schmoes, and we talked to him on Schmoes.
We did, yeah. I've run into him since too.
Have you?
Independently, yeah. Okay. I mean, the first thing I think of what do you think the first thing I think of when I think of Andy Serkis is?
Caesar?
No, it's not a character.
Oh.
It's the man's forearms.
They're big.
Are unbelievable.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you got to play Caesar.
Go back and watch him in either Black Panther or in Avengers Age of Ultron, because he's got he zhuzhes the sleeves like I do, except he's got
Popeye arms.
brawn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he just had a can of spinach.
He's great. And his wife is a super nice person too, by the way.
You say his wife's forearms are even bigger.
His wife's a super nice person, the two of them. I love Andy Serkis.
We'll have them on the show.
Well, I'm sorry.
And I'll leave.
But that's one of the main things that gets me excited about this one, more so than the first one. And I'm hearing mixed things about the film. I hear mixed things. I hear that it's a bit my least favorite. This is what Coy said. So in my least favorite scene in the first movie was that whole lobster thing that they did. It drove me crazy.
And the turd in the wind line.
And the turd in the wind. Like the lobster scene, I remember it took me right out of the movie, and I wanted nothing to do with it. And some people really liked it. And Bibiani, of course, I think loved it. Maybe I'm wrong, but apparently the entire movie plays like that.
I think that you're never going to. I think this is a tough movie to gauge from the critical and even fan reaction, simply because it's not ever going to be something that has a chance of being universally praised. Like if we saw Spider-Man Homecoming and we're all just like, oh my God, that was this. The tone that they're going for feels to me like a comedian that is funny for the comics, and if the audience likes it, great. It feels like you're going to see a James Painter movie.
Right.
You know, but remember, like a Brian Holtzman.
I know what you're saying, but the only difference is, though, is that those comics never sold out Madison Square Garden. Venom 1 made over $1 million. I think close to $1 billion. I think
that's true.
Something like that.
That's true.
So,
but I think I still think so much of that is on the strength of the character brand.
Sure. The question more so, I think the reason why this movie's going to do, it's going to do very well. I don't even if people don't love it, it's going to do very well because of all the stuff that's happening now with Spider-Man. And this is actually one of the conversations we have on this watch along that the three of us. This opens up such a thing for Sony now, this multiverse of things that could potentially happen in the MCU.
It gives a nice wedge into if they want to incorporate this, because that was what we all thought maybe was going to happen in the first Venom.
Right.
So does it happen here?
Who knows? I mean, I would guess.
But just getting Carnage is enough too, because Carnage is just such a cool.
Yeah, and they set him up.
Character.
They set him up at the end of in the post credits of the first movie. And now it's the entire movie. So I'm intrigued to see it. I still haven't. When was the last movie was it Fast 9? What was the one that you went to go see in the theater? You went to see something in the theater. And
I saw Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah,
and then I saw Black Widow at a press screening.
So you're like me. You don't really have a desire. You've been passing up on the screenings and stuff.
Yeah, I've been out of town more recently too. Yeah. So I've been busy. I haven't gotten my naps in. You can probably tell. Yeah, I haven't gotten to the naps.
If you want to, what time do you, be honest with me, what time do you wake up in the morning?
I work very hard.
I don't care. What time do you wake up in the morning?
Usually early. I usually get up around 6 or 7.
Do you really? Okay.
That's why I need the naps so much. Back in the day, I didn't need the naps as much as I took them.
Do you nap, though? How often do you nap? Every day?
When I can. But it might be a 20-minute power nap.
Right.
I prefer like the 2.5.
100%.
Go to bed when it's light, wake up when it's dark, and you're like, I don't know what world I'm in.
There's only, I think I have a threshold of how much I can function. Like with food, you know me, I can't function without food. It's bad. Right. But with
talk about a symbiote taking over.
Lack of sleep, I realized I can go a handful of days, maybe almost a week or two before it starts affecting the mood.
Mm-hmm.
And it started affecting it the other day.
Creeps in the mood, yeah.
But I was like, okay, that's lack of sleep.
Yeah.
And it was getting there, and I didn't get a chance because normally on the weekend is when I can try to get in. If I get in a weekend nap, then I can recharge.
Yeah.
Didn't take one of those last week. Plus the fact of all the shit that we were doing with performing, and then
we were filming
at the cantina.
To quote a famous comedian's signature bit.
Yes.
My hot take prediction is tonight you're going to sleep like a baby.
Oh, that's right.
Because you're getting so much delicious Italian food, courtesy of your better half.
Yes.
You're going to watch a movie, and you're going to puff some Chiba.
I might. I was thinking about. It was funny before you came over. I was going to do it here today, but then I realized that I had to do another show with you. So it was like I didn't do it.
I don't do broadcasts with stoners.
Now I forget though. Now tell me about whether or not you have actually. Tell me for real. Have you done this?
Butcher Box?
Yeah.
Yes.
For real?
Yeah. It's in my freezer right now.
Oh, it's no joke.
I mean, some of it's in my tummy, but most of it's in the freezer.
No joke, ladies and gentlemen. I am absolutely in love with Butcher Box. It is. I mean, we have a lot of great sponsors. I am in love.
Quality and quantity.
Oh, dude, you have no idea of how much you're talking about that meatball. That's all going to be the grass-fed beef that we got from Butcher Box. It is like Christmas when it shows up, because this is the best. You got to be prepared for whatever life throws at you. And how about this? High-quality meat delivered right to your door. And I know sometimes people are like, they're delivering meat. How high quality is? This is fantastic, fantastic beef. I wowed my entire family when I made these cheeseburgers, and my father-in-law was like, "Oh, what kind of meat is that?" It's Butcher Box, baby. Whenever you need a great tasting meal you can trust, it's Butcher Box. They're in your corner. Make it very, very easy. Listen to this. Each box has 9 to 11 pounds of meat of your choosing. They have options like 100% grass-fed and finished beef, which is what we had. Free-range organic chicken. That's coming to me very soon. Humanely raised pork. Also have that. Wild-caught lobster tails and wild-caught Alaskan salmon. That's got to be coming up next for me. And sugar-free bacon. That I have in my fridge, and I'm going to eat it on my birthday for some... Well, I guess today is my birthday.
Got the bacon in my belly right now.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. There's no better feeling than knowing that you can skip the grocery store because there is a variety of Butcher Box meat already waiting for you in the freezer. For a limited time, Butcher Box. Listen to this. This is today's sponsor. This is what they're going to do. They're going to offer our listeners ground beef for life. Because for a limited time, Butcher Box is going to give new members 2 pounds of free ground beef in every order for the life of your membership. Imagine never having to shop for ground beef ever again. It is a no-brainer. I opened up this box, and it was like Christmas. I didn't, because I've had deliveries before, and for meats, and you expect, okay, there's going to be this, and that. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. It really was Christmas. I'm like,
and it's easy the way they deliver it.
Yes.
It's easy to get the goods and then dispose of the stuff. You get to recycle most of it, and so you just feel like a better person.
It seems like the meat just keeps coming, and I'm like, oh, there's so much more of it.
The box that keeps on giving.
It's so good. I love Butcher Box, and I'm telling you guys another reason I want to be selfish here too. Not only do I want you to sign up because you're going to love the beef and you're going to love the chicken, you're going to love everything they have, I also want you to sign up because I want them to be with us for the rest of my existence. I love Butcher Box. It is really great, and here's what you can do. If you don't want to ever have to shop for ground beef ever again, they're going to give new members free ground beef for life. But what you have to do is you got to sign up at butcherbox.com/trivia and get 2 pounds of ground beef free in every order in the life of your membership. Log on over to butcherbox.com/trivia to claim this deal. So go ahead and get over there. Do that. Even if you were like, I'm on the fence, I don't know, I go to my grocery store, get it. Enjoy the box. Come back. Tell me how right Mark and I were. And sign up for that.
Meatball is going to be fun.
Dude.
You're going to have a good time tomorrow.
It's
today.
So good. I can't believe how good that meat was. Obsessed. I was talking about it before we even had to start.
The pork, the chicken I've enjoyed
everything.
So far.
I got to get the salmon. I got to try the salmon. I think that'll be the next one I'm going to get. And then the lobster tails and this place. When did they come into existence?
I've been hearing about them for a few years.
Holy shit.
And now the fact that they're sponsored this sponsorship.
It's perfect.
Is like you are being knighted.
Yes.
That you have now reached an elite rung of podcasts.
Butcher Box has no idea how this was the show that they needed to come to. At all the shows, I'm going to be cooking this up in my grill, and I'm going to be making certain dishes all the time. Like Butcher Box, like if they ever decide, well, maybe we'll move on to a new show, I'm going to be banging at their door saying, get back on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And
he can grill from the road.
Oh,
so
you got no.
We've seen it.
And with this, I would put it in some ice. I marinated the meat the right way.
Mm-hmm. There's steaks. I don't know if you mentioned steaks.
I haven't gotten the steaks yet.
I've had the steaks too.
They're really good.
Yeah.
So Winston was telling me that they have like New York strips.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. You got to be kidding me.
It's your home court.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I love this.
I am not joking with you at all.
I love this company.
I'm a very funny comedian.
This is the Butcher
I'm not telling a joke right now.
No, you're not telling a joke. This is all serious stuff. What else you got going on this weekend? You got anything big?
Just doing naughty things to myself, thinking about that Rocky IV trailer.
Yeah, are you super? Is that's how? This is exactly what it should be. That's the most excited trailer, probably more so than Matrix for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
The
Matrix is going to be work for me.
You think so?
Yeah, understanding unraveling all that crap.
But you're not excited to see it?
I didn't say that.
You just think it's going to be a lot of work.
It's going to be a lot of work. I still have not gotten over how hard that headache hit 10 minutes into me watching The Matrix 2. And I'm like, I don't understand. Was there a pamphlet? I don't get any of what they're talking about right now. We need to go back and watch the first Matrix. So it's like, it's a fun project. Yeah. It's like if back in the day when you had the fatback TVs and you got to go sort through all the cords back there and what attaches to what. It's going to be a process that I hopefully leads to enjoyment. This Rocky IV thing, it just put it in my veins like Drago's putting steroids into his.
Are you going to the theater to watch it? It's only one night.
It's one night in November.
It's one night, I think, at the end.
It's November 11th.
Yeah, and then it comes out on demand, I think, like on the 12th. I wonder if it's got to be, it's got to come out on Blu-ray, right?
Yeah.
It's got to. Yeah. Like that I'm getting. Yeah. I'm definitely.
You and I might have to have a date night.
But I'm glad we'll wrap the show with this because that was the point I was trying to get to before we were talking with Rocky. Because of all the stuff that's not a music video anymore, and now they're going to actually make it like a full-fledged character piece series.
You're ready to say it's the greatest Rocky film of all time.
I'm willing if it plays like his other movie. He directed 2, he directed 3, and he directed 4, and we directed other ones too. But he directed 2 and 3, which I love. If they're similar in the way that they're directed, in a different sense and things that he wanted to do with it and it plays differently, it's got a chance that maybe I don't watch the old one anymore and I just watch that one.
Maybe there's a robot in the post-credit scene.
I think he hates the robot. I think he talks about the robot the way I talk about Clara Live.
What do you mean hates the robot?
He does not like the robot.
Whose idea was the robot?
I don't. At the time, it was probably his.
That's what you got to ask.
At the time, it was probably his. They asked him because they said to him when he announced the cut, they said, "Are you going to? It's a robot going to be in?" He wrote back, "No."
So the movie came out in '85 initially, right?
Yeah.
Here's my theory. I think that there was a rumor put into the world by Arnold Schwarzenegger's camp that a robot is going to show up in Predator. And then amazing. Stallone got wind and said, no, we're getting a robot in our movie first.
Here's the thing. They wanted to put the robot in the next Conan movie. I said, it does not make any sense to put the robot there. However, get Stallone to put it in the Rocky movie.
We got to be...
Arnold says he's going to put a robot in the movie.
I do a robot.
So, a robot in the movie.
It really, that's how you do stuff. You just mumble, and then occasionally you go up with one of the like, clockwork, orange.
And my to this day, my favorite one is the Rambo 4.
Fire shot! Fire shot! Everybody else fighting with him is like, I can't understand.
Why?
Can we?
That's what he says to me. He goes, fire shot. He goes, what? Fire shot! Love that movie. That was a fun experience going to with you.
A lot of heads exploding.
We went early in the morning too.
Yeah, we did. That was a full corn.
It was fun. Listen, it's always fun talking to you. We're going to be, so next week, so everybody knows, Monday, I'm trying to, I got to see if I can make this work, but Monday I'm going to try to get the full Venom review from Coy Jandreau.
Yep. He's the guy to go to.
That looks like that's going to be Monday. Wednesday, Naveed Macalargy, producer, will be on. We're going to be talking, speaking of Matrix, we're going to talk about the Matrix.
Great hair on that guy.
Yes. And then Friday, we're going to do the Spider-Man rewatch. That's going to be the next 3 shows next week because we're going to be in New York. We're going to be doing some stuff. So hopefully you guys are checking all that stuff out. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can get podcasts, and subscribe here. Leave comments. Been commenting back to everyone. Comment back to you too, but you got to make sure to leave some comments, do your things, follow Mark Ellis and Mark Ellis Live. Get those tickets, markellislive.com.
No, Mark.
Sorry, every other time I did it right.
You've been doing it.
It's not this time. All right, get the hell out of here. Go make yourself a tuna melt.